There's way more opportunity now than there was 3 or 4 months ago, in my opinion. Because when a for sale by owner thinks they need help, did they think they needed help 4 months ago?
No, they were cocky 4 months ago.
But they're watching the news and they have the perception they need your help. There could be, and we're seeing a slight increase in expired listings, a slight, but there's no inventory, so there aren't that many more. So the market is still very strong. But the perception is they need our help. And ride that wave. Ride that way. It's actually a plus.
What up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. And this is my favorite episode of the month. Once a month, we get to hang out with Mr. Ren Jones. What is up, sir?
David Hill, it's always exciting. It's always exciting. A lot of good things are up. Change is constant. Change is constant.
It is always excited. I think I need to fix my audio, though, because we may not be hearing you on the Clubhouse.
You can't hear me on Clubhouse?
There we go. We're good now. We're good now.
Oh, now we hear it. Okay, good.
All right. Awesome, man. Right. Well, thanks for being here, man. I always appreciate this particular episode every month because we do focus on the real estate space, the market, and things we can do now, to keep things moving.
This is such an exciting business. I always want to pinch myself and say, is this real? This is just like a candy store.
Candy store? What do you mean a candy store?
You can go, I mean, what other business can you go in and make this kind of money? And even if you decided to be a neurosurgeon, you'd owe $500,000 in tuition, and it would take you a decade to get there.
That is true. It is definitely an industry you can make good money in, and the barrier of entry is not super high.
No, I know. You just have to fog a mirror. That's it.
I hate to say it, but anyway, that's the good news. That's every industry.
We have the land of opportunity. I'll tell you, this is just great.
Well, listen,
exciting. Good.
And
what I love right now, it's the same thing as the first 2 months of COVID. Remember, it was like frozen, and the agents that went to work made a fortune, and the agents got distracted by the news. We're deer in the headlights. And that time is like this time right now, David. It's happening again. They're like, oh my God, we might be in a recession. We might not. The mortgage rates are 19%. Oh no, they're only 5.5. But they could be 19. It's just like nuts. Like if you get caught up in that, you're the deer in the headlights. If you move forward while the other agents are in fight or flight, you'll have the best year ever, just like the first year of COVID.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie and tell you my first year of COVID was my best year ever because it was.
No, but did you notice how many agents made a small fortune that year?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure some did. I just unfortunately wasn't one of them. But anyway,
the stats were there. The stats were there. It was an amazing real estate year.
Here's what I'll tell you, though. In the last
you just couldn't touch anybody with a 10-foot pole, or was it a 6-foot pole? I think it was a 6-foot pole.
I don't know, man. But here's what I tell you I do know is the fact that the last time the market shifted in 2004, our business doubled. Again, in 2008, we grew our business by 30%. By continuing to adapt and shift to what's happening, and this is another one. Same thing with COVID. And COVID,
you gotta pick up the new playbook. That's all. Have your people? Because there are a lot of people involved in Path.
What is the new playbook? Like, what do you mean?
Well, David Hill, he's got the new playbook for this market. That there's the perception and the reality. Unfortunately, the perception is what drives it. The perception by the sellers is that they might need a little bit of help. Now that's the good news. They actually might need the real estate agent, and you're not just an order taker. You might need to help them. And that's the good news. The buyers are like, should I buy? Should I buy? Maybe we'll buy a little smaller house. We better be really prudent. So there's all that. But if anybody needs a new playbook, go to pathtomastery.com.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean,
it's true.
We definitely,
you're in the business of having the new playbook when things change.
100%. But I don't want to. I don't want to make that. This. I want to.
I know that's. I know we're not running a commercial,
meat
but
and potatoes.
but that is where the playbook is. The people that have been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, here's what. Listen to this, and you'll appreciate this. So, in the book Shift by Gary Keller, he says that when these types of these types of markets happen, people go through 3 cycles, and the first one is denial, the second one is anger, and then the third one is acceptance. And
it's the same parallel as death. Yes, I know. It's the same thing. Denial.
Well, we don't need to go there, right? But the reality is,
I know. I was like, where have I heard that before?
Well, but it's so true. I mean, I'm working with sellers going, the first thing, oh my God, this is not happening. My neighbor's house sold for this. I'm not buying it. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, they're like, man, how come you didn't tell me this earlier? Like, what the F,
Yes.
Like, well, I'm not selling my house for anything less than, I don't care. I'll take it off. And then 3 weeks later, they're like, all right, what do we need to do? And you just have to work through that cycle with them. That's the reality. Yeah. We have to be there through the whole cycle. And we have to be patient, Ren, right now, more so than ever. And I don't mean patient like passive. I don't mean
I can give you no ideas on patience.
Yes, but well, me neither. I'm as impatient. But when I say patient, I mean it's patient, like persistently, just there and listening and just like follow up. Right? If we talk about
if you're talking about persistent lead follow up, I'm there. If you're talking about patience, I don't know that word.
Well, you do, man.
But I know persistent follow up.
Yeah. Well, it takes patience to persistently follow up.
Yeah, but that's a good kind of patience.
Yeah, man. Well, listen. What are your thoughts on the topic? So, we got some great people.
Number one, and I'm seeing this with Sarah Close, who she's a co-host of mine on the Roadmap, and she owns several real estate offices and in Southern Ohio and Northern Kentucky. And they're the big piece they're doing is you need to be educated. You're no longer an order taker. You have to educate the sellers. You have to educate the buyers. I was interviewing a guy named Phil DeMuth down in Raleigh just yesterday, and he's got a team, and he goes, the scripts have changed in the last few weeks. He goes, what I do, he goes, I go onto Mortgage News Daily. I'll grab some of the graphs that they are publishing, and then send that out to the folks on my team and get them to then add a little video clip and send it out to their database and to interpret it. You take a look at this, and this is how it applies to Raleigh or wherever your market is. And so we have to become the authority and understand the data. You need to study the data. You need to be the market expert in the microcosm of your neighborhood, in the larger microcosm of your part of town, and on from there.
So to that point, yeah, I agree 100%. We have to be able to show up and provide information, and good information helps with certainty. Would you agree with that? So
right.
Did you, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you caught, I'm getting an echo. Let me see. Why are we getting an echo here? Do you have your phone open?
Let me do this because I turned the volume all the way down, but I guess on an iPhone, 0 is really 12.
Yeah, hold on. That's okay. So what? You there?
Yeah, hang on.
All right, let's do this. I may just have you shut your phone off because it's not working.
I just put it in the other room.
We can. Okay.
How about now?
We're still getting an echo.
Well, I don't think it's coming from here, but I can turn the phone on.
It's might be coming from your microphone. Might be coming from your mic on your computer. All right. Looks like we got some editing work to do on this episode here. All righty then. Ren, are you back, man?
I am almost back.
All right. Awesome.
The phone is off.
All right.
Perfect. I have one microphone right here.
Good. It's perfect now. All right. So let's get back to certainty. So there was the person who reports on, the numbers, whether we're in a recession or not, or all that for the Fed yesterday. I believe in his talk, he used the word uncertainty. I understand. I didn't actually hear the whole talk. I heard parts of it, but I guess he used the word uncertainty 6 times.
Right. Well, he's one of our best Fed chairmen.
Yes.
You know, I can't say enough about him because we've seen crashes. You know, where if you look at Greenspan, Powell, Volcker. Powell was great. You know, Volcker was a disaster, and Greenspan missed the mark.
Yeah. So what can we do? The question is us as real estate agents, right? And I was sharing this yesterday. And I got this from Grant, so I'm gonna give him credit, but Grant says, doesn't matter what the economy's doing, you can create your own economy.
I agree with
Grant in sales.
Cardone. Exactly. And there's the big point. If you're watching, we have to be aware of the news that our sellers and buyers are hearing in their ear. And then we have to bring them back down to reality, down to the ground, and give them very firm, solid facts and data that they can rely on to make a good decision. And this decision has to be on what they want, their family, their life, their expectations, their needs. Run the math. The worst thing is for them to be misguided and then end up renting and wish they didn't.
Yeah.
And that happens. We have, and David, you know this, we have way too many people in our industry that don't study the data. They can't speak to it. They couldn't tell you how many months supply of homes are in the neighborhood they're talking to in the person. There's a 2-month supply, 6-month supply, 4-month supply, what in their market, what that month supply is, how much new construction is going on. Because here's the thing, even if there is a little bit of a downturn, there's nothing in most of the United States, and that's not everywhere, but most of the United States, there's nowhere to buy or rent. There's just nothing available. And unlike other markets where the supply was high and the pendulum swung and things really slowed down, it can't slow down but so much if there's nowhere to live.
Yeah, inventory is definitely one of the challenges, which is in a way it's
a good
thing
us.
for
it's good for us.
Yeah, it's good for us and it's good for homeowners, right? Because that means values aren't going to come down.
Right.
They may stabilize, but they're not going to come down. So let's get to the topic, right? Using lead generation to combat recession.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I came up with the topic, I like I said a few minutes ago, we can create our own economy. We can decide to double up. Like if only half the people are doing business right now, then that means I just need to talk to double the people to get the same amount of business. Right?
And there is some of that. So what it boils down to is, what are you looking for? And one of the things that we see in a market like this, in a market where the house will sell in spite of them, they're like, well, I think I want to sell. And you put it on the market and go, oh, it's sold. Oh, I didn't really want to sell. You want that person whose motivation to sell and to buy is really high. You're looking for 10s. Before you just wanted anybody that would sign something. Now you want people that they really want it. So you may have to look a little longer to find that person. Like, we have to move.
Well, you always, I always want
price and if my terms and this, then maybe we'll do it. No, you need somebody that's ready to go today. And we're definitely doing it. We have to do it. And that's just the way it is. So you're looking a little longer for motivation than you had to before. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, I'm always only like you learned years ago. I don't want to work with anybody unless they're motivated. But I think there's fewer motivated people now, so that's probably one of the challenges.
Right. So we look a little longer, but there's motivation. There's motivation. There are a lot of people that want to buy. I'd like to buy a new house if the right one comes on the market. No, I can only help you if you're ready to buy now.
So I need you for our next episode to buy a headset, because I believe the feedback is coming because you're talking to me are you talking to me on a laptop?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Do you want me to change speakers? Hold on.
If you have headphones, that would probably cut out the feedback.
So you're getting a little feedback.
I'm still getting feedback. Yeah, I think it's because of
Let me just switch the speaker, and then you tell me if you like that better.
Let's hear it. then we can create a more quality experience for my listeners.
Now, you like that one better?
Like, let me see, because it's only me. Yeah, that's better. See, what happens is when the speakers are open, your microphone picks up my audio on the speakers, which creates feedback if you're talking into an open mic.
Okay, so this is working for you.
This is working for us. Thank you. All right, so I want to toss it to some of our friends in Clubhouse too. We've got some rock stars up here. My friend Mr. Wittenstein just popped in. Anybody on the stage have any questions for Mr. Ren Jones, founder of Vulcan 7? Ren, tell him we even say this. We haven't said this. You've been in the real estate business for what?
40? In my previous life, I would take 12 to 15 listings a month for many, many, many years. Sold 150 to 180 homes, not with a dozen people on my team, just me and 2 buyer agents and 2 assistants, period. 150 to 180 for a year and a half. 16 years. Well, not all 16 years, but at least 12 of them I was going 150 to 180.
And how long have you been in you had your real estate license? Long time, right? 30 years? How long?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the rule is, David, you say 20 plus years.
20. Okay, got it. 20 plus. All right. That's perfect.
And that plus is a long number. So
all right. So what we're talking about today, guys, for a quick reset, is we're talking about,
so we watched a lot of market changes, if that means anything. I saw the 18% interest rates. I saw the 12% interest rates. So,
yeah, I have not. I started
walking the park. Anybody that thinks the sky's falling right now, it ain't bad. It's not bad. You can be rich in this market. The economy's strong. There's no inventory. Rates are below 8%. Just go sell houses. Stop being distracted.
Well, that's the thing. Lead generation, right? That's what we're talking about today.
Right.
I want to open up to our panel.
A little better. You need to price a little better. You need to be a lot more informed with the data so they understand their neighborhood, the larger markets, the smaller markets, all the data. And so they understand that you're the expert, and then lead them and then go do the next one and then the next.
Yeah. So we have some panelists here on Clubhouse. We've got a couple people actually watching here on looks like on StreamYard as well. But on the stage, anybody have a question for Ren or me regarding the market right now, using lead generation to combat recession? If you guys have a question, feel free. You're going to be a famous, like legit, on the Path to Mastery podcast live. Anybody on stage? Don't be shy now. We also have some people in the audience. We have Mr. Wittenstein here. He's kind of scared to come up. We got Stephanie. We got some people. We got
Aaron. What the hell? Speak up.
Yeah, Aaron sometimes gets a little shy. He doesn't want to come up.
Right.
I know.
Oh, there he is, man. What question do you have, man?
Hi, Aaron Wittenstein. Is he a Gemini? Is that the other part I haven't met?
Ren Jones, David Hill. How are 2 of my favorite people in real estate doing?
Doing phenomenal, brother. Phenomenal.
Oh man, we are moving in right now as we speak, so it's a little chaotic. So I was kind of in listen only mode until you called me up. Great stuff.
Let's. What are you doing now? How do you use lead generation to combat the recession? Right. It's clear now. At least the numbers indicate we are going into a recession, right? And I'm telling people, hey, I get it. The market, the economy, people may be going into a recession, but you don't have to personally, right? You can take control of what you do on a daily basis. What do you think about that? You think that's true, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah. If you're asking me, you can lead generate yourself out of a paper bag if you need to. It's just doing what we do on a regular, consistent basis, because people will drop out. People will leave the industry. People will stop working because they get stressed or have to take a part-time job. So you just continue doing what you do, just at a bit of a higher level. You increase your skill set by practicing more. And maybe if it took you 3 hours a day to get 30 transactions, it'll now take you 4 hours a day to get 25. And that's okay, because you'll be that much more prepared as things kind of progress, whatever way they're going to do. Because keep in mind, no matter what, we can only track the activity. We can't track the results. But when you do the activity, the results will follow. So.
Yeah. So what is the activity? Because I want people in here.
Oh, it's me. Oh, I mean, it's picking up the phone and making phone calls. You use Vulcan 7, you get your expired, your FSBO data, your circle dialing data, and you just consistently pick up the phone and you do what others are not willing to do, which is cold calling, whatever you want to call it, 2 to 4 hours a day at a very high consistent level. You do that 15, 20 hours a week, you will see results within 90 days if you start today.
You see results immediately, bro. I mean,
yeah, I'm saying like, yeah. If you're brand new, it takes time. You know what I mean? But I'm saying is like, if you're seasoned, you know what you're doing. You could go take a listing. You could make a phone call today, take a listing tomorrow, sell it on what I don't even know what day we're in right now. Sell it on Monday. So it's perfectly conceivable to do that.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think, Ren? What are your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, I agree with him. You know, it'll take you 3 or 4 or 5 months to get good at it, but you know, you're gonna luck into, if you know, just what do they say? The harder I work, the luckier I get. If you put in 2-3 hours a day of making calls, you're doing what nobody else is doing, and you will get what nobody else has. You know, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, it's one of the highest paying jobs in the world if you'll do it. I mean, literally, it is one of the highest paid jobs in the world. It really is.
Yeah, I think sales people are up there.
But most, 97% of the real estate population wants to just put out passive stuff, or they want to drip on 10,000 people and hope 3 pop up. And, so it's interesting. If you just go do it, there's no expense to it. You build a skill set that becomes unshakable and that you can count on. You're like, man, I need a quick 20 grand. Well, add an extra hour a day. It's that easy.
Well, I personally think now, as all these times when the market does change like this, it's a great opportunity to increase your skills, like invest in yourself and become better. And, so I'm doing a sales execution workshop August 23rd and 24th. You can check that out at sales.pathtomastery.net. That's a 2-day workshop. We're going to spend 20 hours together over 2 days, and we're going to go deep so that you can, when you pick up the phones, you are going to be effective at making these calls. That's the intention. So what I want to do is I'd love to give these guys some actual, tangible, here's something you can do. I know Aaron said, let's pick up the phones. Who are we here's something I would tell everybody to do right now. Every single person in your CRM, everybody, start with A's and B's and just say, okay, this week I'm going to call every single person in my CRM that has the last name with an A and B. Everybody. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care. And then if you get through it, then go to C's, right? And then week number 2, go C's and D's. And week number 3 goes D's, E's, and F's, or whatever the next 2 letters are, right? And that's a great way to just get in touch with every person you know. And then you're asking them, hey, I'm just giving you a call. I know things are a little funky out there right now. I know it. How are you doing? How are things going with you? How are you guys making out, right? Like, tell me, what can I do to serve you? Just connecting with people. That's all you have to do right now. And obviously at the end, you're going to say, hey, who do you know? Who do you know that's looking to sell a property right now? Who do you know that's looking to cash out? And a lot of people are looking to cash out right now. I know a lot of people that are nervous and they're selling properties thinking, I want to sell now before things get worse. And then there's other people that are looking for opportunities. But the solution is talking to people.
I listen to all this and I'm like, this is a bunch of BS that the news media is portraying this as dire, and it's just a slight correction at this point. It's crazy. I mean, there were times we were celebrating interest rates this low. So,
well,
there's huge opportunity when other agents are deer in the headlights because they're like, and they're leaving the business. You're going to lose 20%, 25% over the next 2 years, 3 years if this thing rides out any length of time. More money is made by persistent people. We use that word, persistent people, in a down market. If you want to call it a down market, I call it a just off the peak market. There's way more opportunity now than there was 3 or 4 months ago, in my opinion. Because when a for sale by owner thinks they need help, did they think they needed help 4 months ago?
No, they were cautious 4 months ago.
And they're watching the news and they have the perception they need your help. There could be, and we're seeing a slight increase in expired listings, a slight, but there's no inventory, so there aren't that many more. So the market is still very strong, but the perception is they need our help. And ride that wave. Right, that way it's actually a plus. And then you get the 20-25% agents going, I think this is time to leave the business and go get a real job. Great, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, I mean that
this is our time. And I know this is falling on deaf ears, but it is. There is a huge opportunity right now. And you have to look at it that way. Because what's your option? You want to wring your hands like everybody was doing in 2019 with COVID? No. Just jump in and make a lot of money like they did then.
Yeah. Well, we got people up here on our stage and Clubhouse that are going on listing appointments every single day, using Vulcan 7, making calls, and going on appointments every day.
We have a lot of people that have made a just outstanding amount of money in the last 3 weeks. So don't tell me the market's soft.
I made the other day. Today's Friday.
A crutch or an excuse if you want it to be. So be careful. It can be an inside job sometimes.
So we'll listen to this, Ren. Today's Friday. On Tuesday, I went on Clubhouse Live, and I made some live calls. I haven't even made calls in a little while, just because the majority of my calls now are with real estate agents and coaching clients. But I went on and I made some live calls to expired and for sale by owners. And out of those calls, I set one appointment, and I only talked to 6 people. And out of those 6 calls, I set one appointment, and 2 people have called me back now. One builder that actually has 3 lots that we're going to be meeting next week. So you tell me, and honestly, you wouldn't believe, they were saying they weren't getting that many calls, which was surprising. That's telling me a lot of agents are calling.
That's the opportunity. While all the other agents, it's sort of like the first 6 weeks of COVID, while all the other agents are going, oh, the sky's falling, and are frozen, jump in, have some fun. And if you have all the right answers, which is market data, market information, helping them like this, this guy knows what's going on out there. I better tell him to come over, tell her to come over. Whomever.
So let's talk about the people that are most successful with your system. What would you say? What are a couple of the traits that are people that are most successful?
You can't just do it on Tuesday and then not do it till next Thursday. And so consistency. They're on every day. Even if they force themselves to do it on a day they don't feel like it, like even if they just, and the rule is make the first call on the day you don't feel like. Just make one call, and then you can leave if you want. But once you've made one, you keep going. It's just there. So just convince yourself to make one, and reach out to one person, and then you're going to want to do the second, the third, and the fourth, and then you're like, man, I'm glad I did that. It's the same as the gym. It's the same thing. It's the same chatter and mental talk. Like I don't want. All right, I'm just going to do it, and then you do it anyway, and you're so glad you did. You feel like $1 million.
By the way, Ren,
we can feel like $1 million because you set an appointment.
Amen. Well, you do, right? Because that's what it's all about. And then when you set an appointment, you get more confidence.
Right.
Right?
This is huge.
Yeah. You like, holy cow, this actually works. Like you wouldn't believe how many people say that to me, Ren. Like they're like, I made calls and I got an appointment. Like they're surprised.
We take a real estate company with 100 agents. You'll see 3 or 4 that will consistently have a one-on-one conversation with 20, 25 people every day. And they're making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And then you see, 95 other agents that are anywhere along the spectrum. They're either buying the business, so their net's not very good, or they are just working through a handful of sphere and bumping into people and working a few things and maybe going to BNI once a month and getting 7 deals a year out of that. And it adds up to, well, I made $87,000 this year. Well, big whoopee doo. So, you can either dive in, get a nice little consistent routine. The good thing is if you're on the listing side, it's a Monday through Friday daytime job. If you want it to be.
You have to treat it like a job.
Hey, Well, then it is. Then you're not working nights and weekends then.
Yeah. I'm posting a link on the chat for Clubhouse where if you guys want to try out Vulcan 7, we have a special opportunity. You get to use Vulcan 7 3 months. Your 4th month is actually free if you use the link up top. So you get your 4th month for free. And by then you're going to have transactions going anyway, right? That's that first magic 90 days. How many closings? Like somebody should have had at least what, two to three closings in 90 days. If you're consistent with this, do you guys have the numbers on that? I guess it depends on your skill level.
If they have
right?
a conversation and somebody's not sure, one of the things we will offer to them if they're willing to use it half the time, and if they don't take a listing in the first month, we won't charge them. If they don't take a listing in the first month, we won't charge them. Now, they have to use it. They have to use it 15 out of 30 days and have, on an average, 15 conversations. They have to also come to one of our best practices every week so that we can at least give them something to get started with. And if at the end of a month, if they don't, what's interesting though, the handful of people that don't take a listing, that don't take a listing as a result of it, generally have 2 or 3 appointments, and they apply that free month to their second month because they set a couple of appointments. They now see that it's going to make them pretty wealthy. So we offer that very freely because, what do you have to lose? If you use it, you will set appointments.
Yeah. Well, I think the takeaway here, Ren, is the fact that, when you look at the title, using lead generation to combat recession, it's simply just being in touch with people, having conversations, being consistent on a daily basis. And, it's funny because when we started, we had 60 people in here, and half the people, when they heard what it took, they bounced. There's 30 or 26. So half the people are like, oh, making cold calls. Nope, I ain't doing that. I'm getting out of here.
No,
right?
that's
the good news, right?
Right. It's always been, you want to talk about secret hacks for social media success. We start out with 60, we'd be up to 180 by now.
Yeah, true. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I sold 9 homes last year that way. Good for you.
Anybody on the Clubhouse want to ask a question of Ren as we're getting ready to wind down? Do we have any questions? Give me a mic flash if you want to ask a question. Get on the Path to Mastery podcast. All right. Well, we have kind of a quiet audience today.
We have quiet. It's unusual.
Not a lot of questions.
Yeah. And I appreciate Aaron for saying a couple of things because it's the most exciting job in the world if you get out there and you talk to some fun people every day. Sure, somebody's not going to be happy, but that's a numbers game. Not everybody's happy out there.
I was sharing something a few days back with I share this all the time and I get resistance on it. And, as I'm continuing on my Cardone training, they have a philosophy of give price first. Always start with price, meaning, and that's contrary to what most realtors do, right? They want to keep building value, build, and then give price at the end. Like, oh, but if you give price first, then you actually, now the person knows what the price is. They're not thinking about it the whole time, and they can focus on you and then make a decision if you establish that value. And I get so much resistance on this. And when I told Aaron's like, oh my God, that's great. That makes so much sense.
So you're saying,
right? Aaron gets it.
What they should list it for?
Well, no, just like, my commit, like when our commission. Yeah. My commission is this. And my intention is to get you at the end of the day, you're going to hire me. We're going to have this house on the market this weekend. Like you're starting your meeting right there.
Right.
Like
exactly.
But most 9 out of 10 real estate agents aren't going to do that.
Yeah. I don't have a problem doing that. To say my commission is 9%, and then we have to decide what we're going to pay on a cooperating agent that might bring a buyer.
Well, that's yeah. Well, and by the way, we're not trying to tell anybody what commissions they should be charging. disclosed. I don't wanna get
Nice.
in any trouble. I mean, you can charge whatever you want, bro, but
I'm
that's,
just teasing. But yeah, there shouldn't be a problem with that if you're, I mean, if you take them through a process and you pre-qualify the appointment, ask them a number of questions before you get there, confirm the appointment, you get there, your presentation, you're dressed, you're 5 minutes early, you're dressed professionally, your materials are professional. And if you want to start out with price first, you'll be fine. Yeah, but here's the thing: of all those things I named, a lot of people drop the ball. They don't pre-qualify. They don't ask any questions ahead. They don't even know where the people are moving to, which always surprises me. How can you not know what they're trying to accomplish and help them? Ask them, where are you moving to? Like, when do you want to be there?
It's like an art, Ren. Pre-qual is the art. It's like if you want the magic pill, that's it, right? Pre-qual is the magic pill.
It is. That is. Yeah, that's a and it's not a hard one to swallow, right?
No.
And so you take them through all that stuff. You find out what they, and you add a couple things like, what are one or two things you're looking for in your next agent? Like, well, we want blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then weave that into the presentation. All right. Send them your marketing materials ahead. And then and then if you really want to do it, send them the comps ahead, 24 hours ahead. Then they can be all hacked off about the price. By the time you get there, they've settled down. They've studied it, looked at it twice, and then they aren't in shock that their house is only worth $429.
Well, Aaron's raising his hand, but this app is just not letting me bring him up. So, Aaron, if you want to leave the room and come back, we can try to get you up.
Come on, Aaron.
Yeah, because I did say I'm giving him credit because he's one of the people.
I know he needs to speak.
That actually said that makes sense.
Right? I know. Come on, Aaron.
When I hear it, I'm like that. But you know what? Because when I show up to meet with somebody, I've already done a pre-qual. I've given them all the information they need. Right? I'm confident. I'm sold on my ability. So it's easy for me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some skill building over time, and if they don't reinvent the wheel, if they get involved with you, they're going to get there a lot faster, and that's ROI. Sure, they may pay you whatever they pay you, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, but they'll get that back pretty fast.
Paying me more than that, dude. That's.
Well, I'm talking about per month.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right, love it. Good stuff. All right. Well, listen, we're not able. If anybody here has any questions, this is your last chance to ask a question on Clubhouse. You get to interact with Ren, CEO, Vulcan 7, founder, old school real estate agent. Been doing it for a minute, over 20
That's why I
plus
say
years.
20 plus. You can't say, otherwise you're going to start saying old school real estate.
20
it's who wants to make $1 million? We have a lot of people. I mean, we have a lot of people that we interview that are in their early 20s that are making $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. I love it, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it on social media. It's 10 times harder. Can be done, but they're doing it this way, and it's working very well. And they're very happy, and they dominate the market with inventory, and they enjoy their weekends off, and life is good. So this actually works really well with that group.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I think we're going to wrap there. And for people that want to check out Vulcan 7, go to vulcan7.com/path to mastery. You can check out the system. Again, Ren said, if you show up, we're getting that echo again for some reason. If you show up at least every other, 15 out of 30 days or something, and you don't get a listing, you get your first month free.
Yeah, if you use it half the time. And you're talking to, an average of 15 people each day. So in other words, if you use it 15 days out of 30 and you talk to an average of 15 people each time you use it, and you come to our best practices once a week for 45 minutes, we will, it'll be free to you if you, for some reason, don't set a listing appointment or go.
So they have nothing to lose, man. Nothing.
Right. It's rare. If you use it, you will set appointments. You will take listings. It's that. And so that's why we offer it, because it's kind of hard to lose on that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you here. I want you to give one piece of advice as we're wrapping up. We want to wrap up on something somebody can implement right away.
The most important thing is is just understand that what your sellers and buyers are hearing out there on the news is designed intentionally. It's embellished, it's amplified, it's designed to upset them. And the reality is the economy is very strong. The reality is there's very little inventory. The reality is interest rates are somewhere between 5.5 and 6.25, depending on the type of loan. The reality is it's not an A+, it's an A-. And the good news is the other agents are distracted. And this is an opportunity to come in, be the market expert, and make a lot of money. So
Perfect.
Stop watching the news.
Stop watching Good Morning America. Listen to
Whatever.
Path to Mastery.
None of them are selling reality. They need viewership, so they're going to sell a little amplification and things to upset you on purpose. That's what Tony Robbins says. The news is designed to upset you. It is. They aren't trying to make you feel good. You notice that?
They need viewers.
Right. They're not showing you a box full of puppies.
All right, brother. Well, it's always a pleasure, man. Looking forward to next month, and we'll be back the next last Friday of the month. I always get the honor of having Mr. Ren Jones on with us, and just want to say
it's always a joy, and you're what you're doing for everybody out there is saving them time. You're moving them forward through what it would take them 3 to 5 years to learn the hard way, and they're getting that income so much faster. So keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. And that's the value, folks.
That's the truth, brother. That's the truth. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.